As I'm sure many of you guys could probably understand, I deeply miss driving my truck. It's been in the garage for about a month now, but I've took the time to go ahead and install a few things that I was going to install shortly anyways, like the injectors and the ARP head studs. So I went ahead and installed those, and those have been uploaded over the past week or so. So if you haven't checked those out, make sure you guys check them out. Definitely if you're interested in making those upgrades to your vehicle, go ahead and check them out. I think I did a pretty good job. And judging by the comments, I feel like I did as well. You guys seem to have liked it a lot. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take the old VP44 out that went bad on us. I think it's the electronics that went bad on it, not the actual mechanics inside of it. But I think it's the electronics and it's throwing it off, which you guys know the story. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys back up to the videos that I posted about a month ago, about 3 to 4 weeks ago now. And when I started talking about the VP44 issues and what it does, I have some videos on there and showing you what it does. And if you're having VP44 issues, maybe you can judge whether or not you're having the same problems as me. And a lot of those comments did a lot of good, and I learned a lot from those. So that's another thing you should probably check out. But today what we're going to do is we're going to take the old VP44 out, because we're getting the new VP44 from Industrial Injection either tomorrow or the next day. So I want to be prepared to go ahead and install that one as soon as I get it in stock, or as soon as I get it to the house, so I can go ahead and put it in. So like I said, today we're going to be taking the old one out for the hot rod industrial injection pump that's coming within the next day or so. So today I'll be showing you step by step. I already have the intake manifold off, and as well as the throttle position sensor off, and the fuel lines. Now the reason I have those off is because, like I said, I just did the injector install yesterday on this thing, and it wouldn't make sense for me to go ahead and put those fuel lines back on because I was going to have to take them off anyway. But I'll tell you and explain everything here in a second so you guys can know how to take those injector lines off. It's very easy from the back of the VP44, and of course the intake manifold and throttle position sensor. I'm sure many of you guys have took that off plenty of times. But I am going to go over it just briefly so that you can see how to do it and get down to the VP44. Alright, so first things first, you always want to disconnect both battery terminals so that you don't have any current going through your lines at the time of a new install. Then the next thing you're going to do is take off your throttle position sensor. There's 3 bolts on it that are going to be right here, 1, 2, 3, 14 millimeter in size. Then when that lifts up, there's going to be a connector that is right here, and then you're just going to pop that out with your thumb. It's just one connector to it, and then scoot it off to the side. Next thing is going to be your intake manifold, 4 bolts to it, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then there's a 5th if you include the engine oil, which is also attached to it, which you probably want to do first, so that you don't put any stress on this, because you definitely don't want to tweak that in any sort of way. Then you won't be able to check your oil if it breaks. So once we get those two aside, next thing we're going to do is go ahead and jump onto our injector lines. Now that's being, you're going to have 6 of those, of course, going to your 6 cylinders, and then you're going to use your 3/4 wrench, or your 19 millimeter is what that equates to, and you're going to pop all those injector lines loose, then unscrew them. Then there's going to be 5 10 millimeter in size bolts that you're gonna have to take off. It's gonna be one right here, here, back there in the back, right back there, and then there's gonna be another one over here in this area that connects it to this wiring harness, which I took off. You don't have to by any means, but I took it off so I get more space when I get back to that 6 injector line. But these are just 2 10 millimeter bolts. Like I said, I took it off so I could put my hand right over the top and just get to that back bolt. I also took my engine mount bracket off, but I put it back on because I'm not going to need the extra room once I go to put it back on. But that's how you take the injector lines off from the block itself. Now from down here, then you're going to get, hold on, let me get you a light. Alright, so as you can see, your injector lines, all the tubing, the copper tubing goes down into the VP44 itself. You're going to have 6 outputs going to the inputs into your block. So these 6 outputs, I always start with the top one, then I go to the one right below it, then I hit up the one below it, and then I start reaching the wrench end from down below and hitting all of these loose. Once you hit it once, it should be finger loose after that, especially if you took it off recently. But even if you haven't took it off recently, just one good turn with the wrench, again that's a 3/4 or a 19 millimeter as well on the bottom end of it. Once you hit it once, it should go to finger loose. And like I said, you're going to have to go down from the bottom on a few of these, but it's not hard. You'll be able to do it. And just stick your hand down there, hit it from the bottom, hit it good loose one time, and then finger loosen it up. Then you'll be able to take your lines off once the mounting brackets from the injector lines are loose, and then you lift that up and out. Now, important note, here I'll show you real quick. Whenever you take these injector lines off, don't touch anything blue. Don't take anything off that's blue, because that's just going to make more work for yourself. You never want to do that. So the next thing, once we get down to our VP44, we're going to have mounting brackets. Went ahead and popped one loose right here that you can see. This one right here I popped loose. Then there's another one right below it. Then there's two down here. One, haven't popped that one loose. Haven't popped the second one loose up there either. And then there's one below it down there. And then there's two mounting brackets over here on this side of the VP. See if I can get you a little bit better of a light down in there. As you can see, I already have one loose, and then I have another one that I haven't popped loose. I believe that one is a 15 millimeter, and I'll get the exact specs here in a second for you guys. Like I said, I believe it is a 15 millimeter, but those are your two that are down there. Then you're gonna have four up top. And then the next thing we're gonna go into is on your crankset side. You're gonna have this plastic piece, this plastic circular piece right here that you're just gonna turn. I believe it is counterclockwise and then out. Again, I'll go over that here in a second. That goes down to your puke tube where the engine disperses its oils and things of that nature. But we'll get to that here in a second. That's going to be a 27 millimeter nut on the end of that. And then once you take that nut off, we'll go from there. And then I'll show you how the keyway, how to use your inspection mirror and all that. That's just a brief overview of the job. I'm about to start cranking these wrenches and then check in with you guys here momentarily. Alright, as you can see, I just popped that other bolt off. It ended up being a 13 millimeter down there at the bottom. Now these ones up here towards the top of the VP44, closest to the engine block, those are going to be 15 millimeters, and I believe the ones down here are 15 as well. So I just popped that one off, like I said. Now I'm working on the other ones. Quick note, I didn't even mention it. You're also going to have to disconnect the overflow valve, which is a 19 millimeter or a 3/4 wrench. And also this one right here, I just used an adjustable wrench on it, so I don't know the exact size, but this is actually for my fast. You can see right here, my fast feeds straight into the VP44, bypasses the fuel filter completely, and then this just screws on. Like I said, I don't know the exact size of this. You might not even have this part on your VP44, but if you do, just use an adjustable wrench if you're using the Air Dog or Fast or whatever, going directly to the VP44. So, and another thing, just unclip the VP44 sensor. Let me see, it's right here. So for this thing, it goes on like this. Then this thing sits flush if I were to actually do it right now, and then you just pull this clip down. They kind of squeeze together, and then it pulls straight out. So that was another thing that I just wanted to go over real quick with you. I'm trying to be as thorough as possible. So next thing I'm gonna do is hit that bottom bolt down there, the second one close down towards the engine block, and then once I take that off, I'll update you guys. Real quick, just wanted to show you guys the rig that I'm using to get back here into this tight hole. So I'm using a 3/8 ratchet, and what I have on here is of course the 15 millimeter that takes it, and then I have a 2-inch extension onto that 15 millimeter socket, and then coming off that 2-inch extension, I have about a 5-inch extension. So I'll show you here just in a second. Take this off so I can show you. So what I have, or how I got to that bolt and the one on top of it, is I went ahead and put this together, again 15 millimeter 2-inch extension, and then I put my, I think this is a 6-inch, so it's a 6-inch extension onto a 2-inch onto a 15 millimeter socket, and I just reached back here and I put it right onto my bolt, and then that's when I attached my see, I'm turning it right now because it's finger loose. So I'm gonna grab this with 2 hands. I'm gonna put the camera down because I definitely don't want to drop that and lose it and get caught somewhere, but you can see I just put that on the bolt, attach my 3/8 ratchet to it, broke it loose. You got plenty of room right here now that everything's out of the way. Just figured I'd let you guys know that's just something on the side to make your job a little easier. You mother. Alright, so after you get all your mounting brackets off, there's 6 of them in all, you're gonna move over to the front of the VP44, kind of where it meets the belt and the exhaust fan, and then you're going to take off this piece right here. This is your puke tube. I just took it off with a pair of pliers, and then that gives you access to this circular plastic piece. I really don't know what to call it, so I'm just going to call it the circular plastic piece. I'm sure it does something. I'm sure you'll comment down below what it is, but Honestly don't know. So circular plastic piece turns counterclockwise. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is turn that counterclockwise up and out. And that should reveal the 27mm bolt that's underneath it. Alright, so once you get this piece out of there, it looks like some sort of filter almost. I'm not really sure. All I know is it probably more than likely stops big pieces from coming out of this tube and onto the roadway is what I would guess. Then you're going to see that 27mm bolt right there. So right here, 27mm bolt. I'm going to loosen that up real quick and be very careful. Alright, so here's the 27mm bolt. Be very sure you grab with your hand the washer on the back end of that bolt so that it doesn't fall down into your case, because that would be very, very bad news. And I'm not out of the game yet because I still got to make sure that I'm about to get my inspection mirror here in a second. It's over there in the garage, and see if my keyway is facing straight up, and then I'll check in with you guys right after I get this thing out. Alright guys, so I just got the keyhole facing straight up. You can see right there, it's that rectangle like in shape piece, and if you move the mirror up, it should go right into that. You see that line right there? I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a line kind of on the engine wall, and then if you move down, it should line up straight with that rectangle piece. Now to do this, mine wasn't too far off, but to do this and put it in the 12 o'clock position, all I had to do was go down there to that bottom. It's the biggest one. It's like the harmonic something something, I don't really know, but it's the biggest circle at the bottom, and there's 4 15mm in size bolts on that. If you just turn the engine over, you can get that keyhole to line up in the 12 o'clock position. So now that we got it in the 12 o'clock position, next thing we're going to use is our torque tool, and that's the part number, let's see, CGP010. 10mm in size bolts on that. We're just going to tighten it on there, and it's going to push the VP44 straight out. So I'm going to get my buddy real quick to come help me, and he's going to catch that VP44 as it turns. Shouldn't take but a few turns, but we'll see. Alright guys, so I'm out of deep water now. I finally got that VP44 out, as you guys can see over here. Finally got it out, and our key is still right there, so we're all good. Did not fall down. Like I said, you got your puke tube, you got your, looks like some sort of filter. It's probably not a filter, but circle piece, and that's all your mounting brackets are off, all your fuel lines are off, going to your injectors. You got your sensor off, and I think that was it. So 6 mounting brackets, 6 lines, injector lines, your sensor, your puke tube, this thing counterclockwise, does an entire full circle, so be prepared for that. And then your torque tool to get down in there with an inspection mirror to make sure your keyway's lined up, and then bam, there it is, man. There is the VP44. So in a few days, I will be getting the new VP44 from Industrial Injection, the hot rod VP44. So that will be part 2 of this video. I normally don't like to make part 1 and part 2 videos, but I've been trying to cut back on how long my videos are here recently, because I've been noticing they're getting like 22, 24 minutes long, these tutorial videos and how-to videos, and I don't want to do that all the time. So what I'm going to do is for this one, make a part 1 and a part 2. So I will have that Industrial Injection VP44 here within the next couple of days, and I will be making that part 2 video here very shortly, so we can get this thing back on the road, back making videos, maybe do a, well, not maybe, but I am going to be doing a startup video in itself. So that'll be a video in itself with the new hot rod VP44 and the new injectors. So that'll be a video in itself, guys, so be expecting that in the next week, and the new VP44 video within the next few days. I appreciate you guys watching. Please leave me a like always, because that helps me grow a ton, and we will see you in the next one.